Poinciana was established in 1969, coming up on 50 years. We're a private golf club, 36 holes, kind of unique in Southwest Florida. We have no homes, no houses, no condos, 360 acres, just of pure golf. I've been here 18 years. I am a certified golf course superintendent. I've got 25 plus years experience.
Yeah.
A lot of construction, a lot of renovation work. A little over 2 years.
And what got you interested in using drones as a tool on your golf course?
Well, I had in previous businesses, I had worked with Stephen, and so I had a trust level with he and his company, and you know, I think we're always looking for cutting edge type products or technology to help us do our job better. You know, golf courses are always under the microscope, no pun intended, as far as, you know, environmental factors, water use, pesticide use, the land we occupy, how we manage them. And so anytime there's an opportunity to improve that, I think it's something that we really need to look at and explore.
How have you found it to help you as a golf course superintendent?
Well, I think it helps us to verify areas of concern and potentially areas that are going to be of concern. I believe that the technology lets us see things. I mean, we can all see the outline of a fairway and the outline of a green, but when it comes to stress, whether it be, you know, water stress or nutrient stress or traffic from golf carts or from mowers, you know, that's a little bit more difficult to see with the naked eye. So I believe that's where it helps us, and it also helps in you know, getting exact measurements. Although you only really need to do it once or twice, but we know the exact area of our tees and greens and fairways, bunkers and things like that. So we know exactly how much acreage we're treating or watering or whatever it might be. And then, you know, even in a case of what we had last fall, we had a hurricane, being able to use that technology to catalog things. A long time, it had been very expensive. I mean, to try to survey and get a video, a document of that, you know, because at golf clubs or anywhere, you know, not only do you have tree damage, which you need to document all that damage to the golf holes, but also the structural damage, whether it be restrooms or clubhouses or cart buildings. You can very easily and very quickly and inexpensive go ahead and get a survey of what the damage, you know, was. And, you know, in our case, fortunately, we had flown many times over the property. We may not have specifically tried to photograph the clubhouse roof, but yet it was photographed, you know, as a byproduct of our other flights. So I think that came in very handy, and certainly was very well received by everyone, all of our membership, and as well as our board of directors and the insurance companies.
Right. I guess it enabled you to get to take action much quicker once you had, because you had to.
Yeah, we knew exactly, and you know, in our case, in the fall, you know, all of our decision makers were run by a board of directors and a club president, and so some of our decision makers were out of town, and so if I can take that file and email that to them and say, you know, this is what we're facing, it gets the ball rolling a lot quicker. So
generally speaking, though, what would you say has been the greatest benefit you've seen from using the drone as a tool on your golf course?
I think it helps to buy us a little bit of time. It gets us out ahead of things a little quicker. For instance, I don't know, a year or so ago, and we've seen this a few times. We had some stress on one of the greens, and we did not know it. We couldn't see it. the the drones picked it up quicker than we would see it, so it got us. We were able to formulate an action plan a lot quicker. I think it also gives us objective data to work with instead of just looking at something going, well, I think this could be under a stress. Now you know it.
2 years in, are you getting more out of this program than you expected?
I didn't know what to expect when we started it. I think what surprised me was the quickness that we can get it back now. It's 24 hours. You know what's going on. So I like the fact that we have been doing we've been working with Steve for over 2 years now. So the more data points we get, the better it is, the better the information comes back.
Right. So over time, you build a history. You can actually sort of track what's happening on the golf course.
Yeah.
Right. So, do you think there's been a measurable return on the program for you in terms of water usage, chemical usage? Has there been? Can you actually put a finger on that?
I can't. Anecdotally, I can say yes. I mean, in our case, not being able to catch stress early, grass can die, and it never dies at the right time. It dies during the middle of the season when you have 600 members here and everybody expects things to be, I wouldn't say perfect, but they don't want to be inconvenienced. And so using this technology, if we can see things, which we can, a little bit sooner, and that way we can work on things proactively instead of trying to be in scramble mode, having to close something down or make excuses. So, we have not gotten to the point yet where we can start putting a pencil to it. But anecdotally, if nothing else, it's made us better at what we do. And I think, from a member's perspective, they certainly see us being proactive. So it's been a win-win. On normal times, I think it's helped us a little bit. We've certainly been able to identify some sprinkler issues. We talk a lot about disease, and because that's really where we focus. But as far as irrigation management stuff goes, it has helped us there. We're able to see sprinkler heads that may or may not be functioning, or sprinkler heads that potentially are maybe putting out too much water. Maybe we're not looking for that deep green. We're trying to back off it and get things a little firmer.
Now, how often do you fly the course twice a month? Is that what you're doing?
Twice a month.
And does that give you enough data to measure things like water issues and
Yeah, I think so. I think it, obviously more frequent is better.
Mm-hmm.
You could fly it every day, but you couldn't process that information. I think that, for the first week or so, you'd look at it and go, yeah, this is great, and maybe make some changes, but then all of a sudden you're just, so I think the every other week really does help us. And we always have the ability to fly, if we think we have, like we had a tournament, major tournament here, and, Steve Myers came out, and they flew a little more frequently. And so, that helps.
Okay. And would you recommend this to golf courses, generally speaking?
Yeah, I would. I would recommend it, depending on, there's a lot of different technology out there. And so I would recommend it, but I would also recommend that you spend your money with a company that is progressive, that is, not only has the technology to get it done, but also the reporting and will partner with you. I could not imagine, going out, buying a drone, putting it up myself, trying to do it that way. This is a professional, you're dealing with a professional company from start to finish. So I would recommend it. I think the more guys that get on this and try it, I think the better the better data we're all going to get, and the better we're going to figure out how to use this.
That's great. Have you had any comments from members about the program?
Yes, we've had quite a few comments when we first started it. You know, being I would say exclusive private country club, I was very worried about I'm always worried about member perception. Mm-hmm. You never want to irritate the membership. We're to be seen and not heard. And when we started it, we communicated what we were doing, and the support, the curiosity, the positive experience that we've had from the membership, other than receiving information that I can't see with the naked eye, that's been the biggest thing that has surprised me. It's well worth the money just for the PR that we're getting. You know, we hear things like, hey, these guys are being proactive. Hey, this is the wave of the future. You guys are using new technology. You know, the pilots are professional. They're polite. You know, but we managed it on the front end and said, look, this is what we're going to do. And oh, by the way, we're not taking pictures of you, and we're not taking a heat image of you. You're going to be shadowed out. And then after the hurricane, that was just another, you know, I think at this point, you know, if we stopped it, I'm not sure it would be positive from the membership, but yeah, it's added a couple of years to my career, maybe.
Would you say it's also helpful in terms of when you want to propose something to your team that needs to be done, that you can actually show them hard data and images that support your case? Is that?
You know, I'm not sure. I mean, there's always that potential. There's a lot of guys out there a lot smarter than I am to figure out how to use this. Mm-hmm. I do know that, if you have a good, if you're seen as a good manager and a good manager of their resources, and you do things that are progressive, and you have a good public perception within the club or in the area, I think that gives you a little bit more flexibility to do some of those things right out of the gate. And then, but there's no doubt that this tool would help you with a lot of different things. You know, if I was going to do a reconstruction project and I needed to know how many square feet, what the square footage of all my greens, tees, if I'm going to do a greens renovation project, I could come in with this and do square footage or, whatever of my greens. I know exactly how many greens I need to bid, or, whatever that number is. I believe there's also some features that I could come in and do some 3D modeling. And if I wanted to say, just resurface my greens, I don't want to change any of the contour at all, but I just want to come in and strip the grass and put a newer variety, or, whatever the case. I could come in and do contour maps, do 3D modeling, and know exactly, once I strip it all off, I know exactly where I want to get it back to. Because at a lot of clubs, the greens are sacred. And so if you do a regrass job, they don't want you to change anything. They just want you to magically take the grass off, put new grass back on. These are the greens I've putted for 50 years, and I want to keep putting them. One thing I would add is, as we go through the process, and I've said, we've, a little over 2 years now, the reporting, and not only the lens, I talked about the lenses getting better and, everything gets better, but the reporting has gotten so much better, since we started. Now, and we have the ability to kind of customize things, and, we really don't want to see that, but this is what we really need. I'm sure these programs were built by somebody really smart, but they may not have grown grass yet. And there's a lot of information that we just do not need or is not applicable. And so, having that ability to modify these report packages and show the isolated stress areas that we can get. We have a new report now that actually shows, it shows tees, greens, fairways in a relationship that you can say, okay, I know where that is now. It's not just a bunch of little cubes on on a piece of paper. And if we need to get to drill down to one specific area, a tee might be 5,000 square feet. If we want to drill down just to that green, we have that ability. So that's one of the things that, you asked me what I don't know if you did or not, but that's one of the things I'm getting excited about, is that these reports are now getting to the point where they're easier to interpret and easier to come up with an action plan from what we see.
That's great.
And it's also easier, when I can show a picture to the board of directors, I show them a soil report or whatever it is, they glaze over pretty fast. But if I can show them a picture of a stressed area that potentially may be a drainage problem or something like that, they get it, they see it. Hey guys, we flew this January 10th. I didn't fly it in the middle of the summer after we had a tropical depression, and this is a wet area. I need to go in and do some drainage work. So that kind of goes back to your other question, that I guess it can help you. As I said, we're just scratching the surface, and everybody's different. Every greenkeeper is different. And some guys want, I'm into the whole disease management and stress management. Another guy may be into it for, he's got a drainage problem and he needs to identify that. I guess that is the cool thing. And like I said, there's probably 50 things that other guys are using it for that we're not even thinking about.
I guess that comes back to what you say. It's really important to make it that it become a partnership, that you're working as a team. It's not just throwing reports at you, but you're actually information flowing back and forth.
Yeah, somebody's here on the ground with you and comes in, and we're not communicating with a computer. And as I said, having the ability to have somebody listen to you and say, look, this report's not getting it. It's too, it's great if you're a PhD, but I needed to do this, and customize those reports has been pretty big.